Hi, Rin Radipon and Atiwat.
Right. Good afternoon,ครับ
Good afternoon, ครับ if you are ready for presenting your work นะครับ you can just like start now because now it's 4 o'clock already นะครับ
Okay. So you'll be the audience.
Yes.
Okay.
What I see is that
So is it just two of us, like three of us?
Yeah.
hang on, others may have others may come a bit late because I just like see in the line group that some of them have the presentation in another class. They come late. Yeah, so yeah, I will be your audience because I want to know what you are going to show. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll first do share the slide and you do that. You share the slide. Give me a few seconds.
Okay. Yeah, just take your time. You have plenty of time because like you are the only presenters of this afternoon.
Okay. Give me a second. Okay, you can see the full screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So should I do this like as if it's like Shark Tank or something? Joking. Okay. Anyway, hello everyone, and we are going to present our company, Program.me, and this is our invention for our e-business company that we believe is really going to revolutionize the world when it comes to programmers and tech industry, social media, and several other things. So first of all, let us start with what we are. So to describe it very simply, Program.me is a social media platform that also correlates with a job hiring platform specifically for tech industry people. So this could be programmers, this could be software engineers. Let me turn on my camera. This could be software engineers, it could be tech companies, and several other people in the tech industry who basically can really utilize this platform. So what we do is we provide the social media ability for people to talk to each other. We provide the job hiring ability for people to post information on their profile and connect with each other, and for companies to hire people and for people to find companies to find jobs. But at the same time, we also provide a unique feature of allowing people to post their own code onto our interface and running those programs straight on our interface that would very easily allow them and other people to see the functioning version of the program that they have written. So we like to describe our company as a combination of LinkedIn, Facebook, and GitHub with more features and all in one. And yeah, so to further gone to our business plan, yeah, so it's about us. We wanted to make a place where programmers and developers get share their work and get hired easily. Because if you look at how people try to get hired nowadays, then it's basically they have the resume on LinkedIn, and then if they want to showcase their work, they have to post the code in GitHub and just link it to GitHub. And maybe if they can function or run the program over there. And then if they wanted to communicate with others or maybe share more of the social lives, and they go to other social media platforms like say Facebook for them to contact with companies and these type of things. We believe that with all of these fragmented, we actually have a room for people to put them all into one place. This is because there's a lot of room for people, a lot of revenue for people that can be generated by people who actually utilize all these three platforms, but separately. So Program.me, that is our product, combine all these features together into one streamlined and elegant application that we provide for our people, and especially aimed at the people in the tech industry. And this is the part where our function of allowing people to run the program, to demo the program on our application comes in. That is, they can very easily use it as a social media platform to showcase the work very easily as well. And so a bit more onto our business model. So we're going to bridge the gap between programmers and companies. As an interest-based social media, we also make money via advertising revenue model. And this is because this is a lot of people who came to our that we projected a lot of people came to use our social media platform. So we think of the way to generate revenue similar to Facebook and similar to Twitter, where we allow sponsors and other companies to put advertisements onto our platform. And that would be the way, one of the ways we generate our revenue for ourselves. And we also have the paid ad banners that's available to anyone, that is like for anyone to apply and to get the accounts boosted or get the accounts being able to be seen by more and more people to either improve the prospect of getting hired or for companies to just reach out to more people just to start. Yeah, and this the sheer amount of the programmers and companies that would attract by our business model would make this model a very good fit. But moreover, we also, since it's also the advertisement and sponsors that came in, we also offer functions that are similar to a transaction-based model where they're able to pay for the advertisements to be put up or paid for the account to be seen more frequently. So it is a combination of the advertising and the transaction in a way. So yeah, a bit more details on our business plan. The value proposition that we have, or the value that we will provide to the people, as we have mentioned before, is the very easy and one platform type of way for people to communicate with companies, for people to get jobs and to hire companies to hire people, and even a social media to showcase their own programming work. They can post their own code onto our program, and our program will execute it to allowing them to run a demo. So for example, if you have, say, develop a video game, a very small video game that can be run streamlined, you can post it straight on to our account and we will be able to run it. And for people who came to see it, they can be able to play it and actually being able to see and actually feel how your work looks like in actual application. Programmers will be able to post things like the 3D modeling that they have seen, maybe a maze or running algorithm, or maybe just several type of code that we like to showcase their own work. The market opportunity for this is basically all of the tech industry. If you see how much people use LinkedIn, GitHub, and Facebook nowadays, then we are projected to actually was able to attract quite a good chunk of the audience from there. And we'll get more to our marketing strategy, but to put it more simply, a lot of people are also looking for a way to be able to communicate with each other and to present the work on one platform as a open social media type of platform that they can able to showcase their work and communicate with others and get hired. And for the cost, specifically the cost that we have to mainly do with developing our application, but more importantly is the server that we have to run. And this is due to the main functionality that we have, that is the ability to run demos of the programs. And this requires a lot of computational power and a lot of servers. That's very powerful servers. And we project that this could cost up to $5,000 type of servers. We're talking those type of server type of thing. But we do have plans to expand on this. And if we are able to manage this well, we could very well spawn quite a lot and attract quite a lot of programmers onto use our service. So a bit more on the marketing plan that we have to grow our audience. And this really is one of the ways that I think one of the core ways that we have to grow our communities and grow our people. And that is to create and encouraging the creation of the diehard fan base. And the reason for this, the idea behind this is that when it comes to tech industries, there are a lot of cliques or there are a lot of groups of people who are very proud of themselves for using a certain type of technology or a subscription to a certain, let's say a certain operating system, or that I'm a very proud user of this browser that because it's secure, because it's something like that. When it comes to tech industries, these type of groups and cliques are very common because it kind of defines the identity of the people in the tech industry. We can use this to our advantage by turning our program to be one of those cliques for people who come in and use these programs at the very first phase to feel that they are an exclusive group of people, that to feel that they are someone who's actually special and part of the identity to use our program, use Program Me. it could very well create a loyal and dedicated fan base. And to this, we encourage an active community. We try to get more and more companies on board for people to try out Program Me and for people to stick around. We organize a lot of community events. So maybe something like coding competitions or things like that. We sponsor quite a lot of things that just brings a community together and just create this die-hard and loyal community. We believe that once we are able to establish this fan base, once we are able to establish a solid and loyal people and companies who use our product, and then we basically be safe, and then we can go on to expand those fan base later from there, because it gives a distinctive identity. And that also another one that we have is the reputation that we have, that we would want really think could be used as our main weapon against our main competitors. And now it's a bit of on the next slide that we are going to get into the user reputation. But essentially, it is the bringing together companies, bringing together people, and creating the an exclusivity type of feeling for our people. And then it would later be able to grow it into more and more user consumer base. And since our business model is also advertising, it could really span out quite a lot of revenue for our own companies through this means as well. And next up would be, it's lacking a little bit, so apologies. Okay, that would be competitors. So naturally, our competitors would be the big tech companies that are already established. So LinkedIn, Facebook, and GitHub, the site that I have mentioned the features of before. LinkedIn being a site that really just presents the resume of people and allow people to post the contact information and people to see and hire jobs. And Facebook would be naturally an extremely enormous social media platform, and GitHub being a code storing and code sharing platform for programmers. So one thing that I think we have an edge over our competitors is that we have a features of all these three competitors, and we combine them into one application, one that a lot of people can find very easily to use, and a lot of people to really prefer because it's on one platform, really streamlined. But another thing that we believe that we can also do to get ahead of our competitors is that we as a new company do not have a bad reputation yet, or rather controversy that are associated with us. Because when it comes to a lot of these companies, like specifically Facebook and GitHub, they do have controversies and bad reputations that's surrounding them. GitHub recently have the GitHub Copilot that a lot of people started to think that the GitHub just took all the code that are being posted on GitHub and then just turn them to an AI and then sell them to users instead, whereas it's supposed to be this code that's supposed to be open source or things like that. So it's one controversy with GitHub as a big tech company and this chasing money type of controversy and bad reputation that they have with them. Facebook also have a certain reputation about them stealing data and manipulating algorithm and these type of things as well. And yeah, so because of these reputations, what we can do is that once we build a solid fan base, we can go on to actually establish a more reputations type of things. We can try to establish and get more people to see that, oh, okay, our company doesn't have any controversy associated with our company, doesn't do the bad things that the Facebook and GitHub or other big tech companies are attempting to do. And once our company are put in this very good reputation and combined with the solid fan base that we have from our marketing strategy earlier, we believe that it could be a very solid way for us to grow, because a lot of people would see it in a positive light. And when more and more companies are coming in to use our platform, it will naturally attract more people who wanted to get hired by the companies. And our company would basically just grow from there. It would be a very lucrative business plan for us. And the next one is a bit slow. The SWOT analysis for our companies. Again, to repeat from the point that I mentioned earlier, the strength would be all of our features are combinations of the three companies, the big three companies that are very famous all throughout the tech industry. We combine them onto our one platform. We're able to run demo on our own platform. We allow social networking functionalities for people to communicate with each other, and we also allow it's designed for programmers and people in the tech industry for ease of use as well. The weakness is that the big tech companies, since they already have a very solid reputation and a lot of resources already, we're at a disadvantage compared to them. Facebook have a lot of resources and have better ad targeting algorithm. We are not as well known as LinkedIn just yet, and GitHub already have a lot of millions of code stored in them. So a lot of people would still be using GitHub just to go for open source or to source new project or old projects. So things like that. So it's already a battle against an established giants of the tech industry. That is the main weakness that we are doing. But if we have the solid fan base that we have built before, I've mentioned before, this could be a weapon that could really just help us get through these weaknesses. Opportunities. We really have a lot of opportunity to attract developers and people in the tech industry that are disillusioned by the big tech. People who wanted, or even new programmers who are looking for easy ways to find jobs, to communicate with each other, to express themselves through a social media that is designed for tech people all together. This could really have an opportunity for us to attract these new type of customers, the type of people who really can grow us and just become really loyal to us, and chance to develop an image of a company that doesn't associate themselves with controversy and the don't do evil type of thing as well. And then the threat is, of course, our competitors and the fact that the tech industry is moving very fast. Facebook is developing the metaverse. They are moving into newer things. They're developing newer technologies, and they have a lot of resources to just create more and more things that are just something that our company cannot afford right now. But then again, since we can't compete with the resources and the popularity, we just compete with them through the solid and small fan base we have, where we can slowly but surely grow from there on. And this would be our SWOT analysis. And it's quite slow today. Okay, so next would be the investment areas. And this is really, since this is a pitch that we wanted to get the investment from the specific, we are going to describe our plan that we have for the very near future. We're going to expand on how we're going to expand our company using the investment that we receive. The first is expand our scale. The main functionality that we have is the computation that people can post the code on and run demos on our platform. So in that case, we really should expand more and more computation. That is getting more servers, getting a better ability for people to run their code more efficiently. That's investing in more hardware, investing in more software developers, just expanding the scale of what our application can do in general. That would be one of the main priorities that we have. The next one is also expanding on buying more regional servers. So an example of this would be a server in Singapore if we want to reach the developers in Southeast Asia, or maybe another server in Japan where we want to reach more people in the East Asia type region. This is because we have more and more servers around the world, and the programmers and tech industry people all around the world would now become more connected. They are able to use our application much faster and much more efficiently because there's now servers very near to them, and then the processing speeds and all this stuff would be a lot quicker. It would in general attract more companies and more people from all the type of regions around the world. And the third part would be the digital marketing. Again, this is to increase our exposure and to just get our names out there to compete with the big tech giants. And lastly would be the research and development. So we'd hire more data analytics and data scientists to just figure out the trends in the industry and just staying ahead of the game. That is one of the main things that I believe as a software company we really should be focusing on, because the trends of technologies move really fast, and we just need we basically need the research and development department to just get through this. And yeah, that would be are the main businesses that we have for our business. And next would be the demo that we are going to provide to you. So,
Okay.
okay.
Take you guys to our demo. Okay, is the screen there? Okay, then. So this is going to be the mobile application. And of course, we have to be able to log in and register. I'll take you guys to the register part first. For what we require is that we need their email, obviously, and then once you click next, you have to input your first name, last name, and occupation, like your job, your current job, or what you have done before. Then after you successfully sign up, you'll be linked to a homepage, which is like where everyone posts their work and stuff. And so this is like, since we gain revenue from advertisement also, and that's why we have like Genshin Impact advertisement here, like randomly there. And you can click on to one of other people work, and then you can see like the demo, but we didn't do that in here. And you can request the code, like if they say approve, then you may be able to access their code and study from them. And you can also text them using this message button here. And there you can scroll it. And yeah, like this one can also have the play button here. And you also have the search function. Like let's say you type in machine learning, you just show the results, and you can also click see more. And again, this is the random Genshin Impact photo for advertisement. And we have the chat page where people contact you to ask about your work, or like wanting to hire you, something like this. Yeah. And we also have the profile page where you post like what you have posted before, and you can message them, or if this is your own account, you can actually boost your profile by subscribing for only $90 a month. And you can pay by PayPal, credit cards, and also like bank transfer. And you can also like post stuff here. When you post your demo, like you should be able to import in the code, and this our application should be able to execute whatever program that you like, whatever code that you put in, and to run like a small demo. Like if you like input too much code in there, it might be like lacking and stuff. And you can also, I misspelled the description, but yeah, you can also like write down a description and then click post and stuff. Yeah, I think that should be it for our presentation. Right.
Yeah. And yeah, and to a bit of a correction that I made earlier. Earlier, I described our business model as advertising and transaction, but I misspoke. It was supposed to be advertising and subscription type of model, because the boost would be temporary. So this needs constant subscription. But yeah, that would be it for our presentation.
Okay. Are there any questions for this team? So if there is no question, let me just ask a question a bit, Kap. How much do you plan for the revenue for the first year when you launch this one, from like all your members and the subscription?
Well, we doesn't have an exact figure that we have, but I would approximate that since in the first year that we launched, we'd be focusing more on getting more and more people and exposing and getting more exposure. So if we have the basis that we can partner with other companies already, we expect say a 10% profit. Although I wouldn't say that's realistic, but I would say that's around that at least.
You mentioned about the cost, right? I'm sorry,
Right.
you mentioned about marketing that you have to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and also the development of the platform, all of them have the cost as well. did you plan how much do you have to spend on this one?
Again, we didn't plan for the exact figure, but as an approximate, we just figure that the a lot of the cost would be mainly focused on the servers that is like because that's the main feature of our application. The developing of the our application would also be another cost that have to factor as well, although that would be a one-time thing to develop it from the ground up. And then our maintenance cost that would be probably be the general cost for the developing of the application. So it's like yeah, so around the average cost if we just base our company in the US. And yeah, and a lot of the cost would be from the servers, and then the rest would be the partnering with the companies to get the people to sign up and getting more people to attract. And yeah, but in this case, I would still say the servers would be still the main type of cost.
And the revenue, if we assume that, let's say we have 30,000 users and
excuse me,
subscribe.
Your voice is quite not clear. Can you just like say speak closer to the microphone?
Is it good now? Hello.
Hello.
But is it still lacking?
It's not lacking. It's just like the voice is not quite clear because you might be like a bit far away, or you turn the microphone to the other side, so we cannot hear you clearly.
Okay. I don't know how to fix that since I didn't know anything.
When you presented before, it was good, but right now I couldn't hear you clearly. Yeah, can you say again?
How should I fix it? Is it somehow better magically? No.
Not better.
Is it better now?
It's the same.
Oh, I'll type to you, Atiba.
So for this team, I just would like you to think about the cost and revenue in exact number as well. So even though you said that I don't know how much do we have to spend, but at least you can plan for the components that for example, the development costs, and then you can plan for the maintenance cost that it should be around 15 to 20% of that development cost. And the servers, you should just research on the internet that how much do you have to spend, especially if you say that it should be the cloud-based server, something like that. You should be able to do that.
Yeah, we actually was thinking around $5,000 for the high-end server, since we are the ones who also running a lot of programs and demos. Yeah. But if I had to give an approximate figure, I would say around the amount for the first year. So
for these costs and revenues, please just add them in the documents in the report, so that I can see how they're gonna summarize these costs and revenue, because you need the profit, right? And especially this one, you can see that it's a pitching in case that you would like other people to be interested in this platform. For example, if you say that, okay, we have some of just the local technology company who would like to join with you, who would like to just cooperate with your company, they need to know how much do they have to just invest in that one, and how much do they get it back. Or somebody may say that, for example, if we say that the software Bureau of Thailand would are interested in having this platform, they may say that, okay, they just give you some grant on this, then they need to know that, okay, how much do they have to spend. So that's why when you just preparing the business plan, please write it down properly. Okay, you still have the time to do so. Okay. All right. Okay. Hang on. Let me just see whether I get something. I guess Rin Radipon sent something to me. Let me just check in the line messenger. Just won't be long. Oh, no, it's somebody else. Okay. All right. Okay ครับ so then just do that นะครับ for me for any suggestion that I just give it to you so that I can just like mark the score properly นะครับ that you have just like all the things that are important components นะครับ okay all right thank you for the last team นะครับ from Atiwat and Rinratiporn นะครับ so now that's all for the presentation นะครับ from every team already นะครับ all of the projects look great นะครับ and it is interesting and I'm sure that นะครับ most of your project that you propose to me นะครับ can become true นะครับ if you just like be interested in just like developing this kind of project I suggest you นะครับ to join some like some institution or just like some organization that they just like give you the grant. For example, in Mahidol, we have, as I mentioned earlier, we have got the startup club of Mahidol University. Just join them, so that I saw that okay on couple of months ago I was in the presentation on the pitching of like this those teams as well. It's just like when I compare with you, your one is better. And you can just like have some more innovation because you are techie people, you know, just like on more technology than like those who propose. Because sometimes when some people just like propose their ideas, it might be just like difficult to become true and logically. If you are just like talking about the algorithm that they think about, it might not be quite possible. Then it would be great if just like show them how you learn about like the things that we have on e-commerce and other kind of subjects that you learn from MUIC. It can help you to just like get funding easily. So believe me, if you have just like time, just like do it. Okay, then now we come to the last part of the module 11 chapter 11 for chapter 11 on chapter 11 for the supply chain that we study on the last class. So in this one just won't be long, let me just like share the screen to you. Okay, so on yesterday I talk about the supply chain I talk about the supply chain trend and the collaboration commerce that we can have it. So today let's talk about the next thing. I want to talk about the supply chain simplification in this one. So firms work closely with the strategic group of suppliers. In this one, your company, when you work closely with your suppliers, we try to reduce product administrative costs while we try to improve the quality of the products and the quality of the administration for like all the transaction that you have got as well. So in this one, especially when you have to just like purchase under long-term contracts, like for example, you say that you would like to buy the raw materials for the whole year, and then you have the contract with a company. Like I told you on yesterday, assume that we have we have to buy the sugar from Midpon company to produce candy for our company for the whole year, something like that. So that one contain pre-specified product quality requirements and pre-specified timing goals as well. So that means you might say, okay, for the purity of the sugar, you want it to be just like how many percent that you just like plan as a standard of the sugar, the whiteness, the sweetness. You can just like specify it ahead that, okay, because we will order you a lot for the whole year, then you have to just like prepare everything according to our standard that we have set up. Also the timing goal as well, because you know that, okay, in each month you would like to have the sugar for every let's say for every like every month around like 1 week before the month end, something like that. You can pre-specify the timing goal that you would like to have those products from your supplier properly. And it's often involved tightly coupling. That is the method to ensure the suppliers precisely deliver order parts at specific time and particular location to ensure production process is not interrupted. So this one, because you just like have the long contract with your supplier, you can just likeนะครับ design and arrange everything ahead before it comes to the delivery. For example, if you say that okay on module on January you want it to be on the 25th of January นะครับ to deliver to factory A นะครับ it must be before 9 a.m. something like that. You can just like pre-specify. Now we talk about the next thing that is EDI นะครับ EDI or electronic data interchange that I told you that okay it had just like the way that different companies try to set up their standard นะครับ this is the broadly defined communication protocols that different organizations use to exchange documents among their computers นะครับ and it has evolved significantly because this delivery or this communication for exchanging documents around the world are very important นะครับ during 1970s to 80s นะครับ that decade นะครับ was originally focused on just document automation instead of having the typewriting and then send it through telex or send it through just like letter นะครับ they try to just like computerize or automate this document submission นะครับ after that early 90s it began to focus on document elimination because instead of having hundreds of pages when you deliver the documents at one time, we try to say that okay we don't need no longer lots of documents. We want it to be just like as minimized as possible นะครับ in mid 90s the movement toward continuous replenishment and access model, some companies say that okay how can we have just like the automatic replenishment of the product? For example, if we say that we want the sugar นะครับ to produce the candy to our company, let's say if the sugar is almost finished นะครับ then the sugar manufacturing company needs to know that okay we want some more sugar นะครับ to deliver. Then it will be continuous replenishment instead of waiting until the end of the month, something like that. They can just like deliver the products to us immediately just before our product is just like depleted. And today it should be viewed as general enabling technology that provides for exchanging of the critical business information between computer applications supporting wide variety of business processes. And as I told you currently, normally the EDI, we just like transform them to use the XML to help. In this one, you can see that okay, the first period of time, suppliers computer receive the purchase order นะครับ receive payment from firm's computer นะครับ and also suppliers computer send the shipping notices, price schedule and invoices to the customer's computer นะครับ in stage 2นะครับ production schedule นะครับ is sent from the firm computer to suppliers computer so that they can just like prepare the supply for the company, and it just like also send the delivery schedule that okay which day that they will deliver the product to the company นะครับ also firm can just like send the payment schedule that okay which day that the check will be will go to the suppliers company, and shipping orders when will be the shipping orders sentนะครับ from supplier to firm computer as well. While in the current generation นะครับ current stage we try to have continuous replenishment นะครับ to fill up the stock before the stock is like depleted. Payment on use, that means whenever we have to order the products, especially for the continuous replenishment, when will we pay นะครับ the money for those companies. It is also including just like the schedule for just like the contractual period and also the credit term as well, that help for planning and then scheduling for the payment นะครับ as well as the shipping data as well นะครับ so this one is to serve the continuous replenishment when we have the EDI นะครับ for the B2B. Okay, so when they come to the supply chain management system นะครับ we try to just like make all activities to be smooth as much as we can in every single aspect นะครับ this one we continuously link all the activities of buying, making, moving products from suppliers to customers นะครับ customer means us นะครับ the company, to purchasing firms, as well as integrating demand side of our business equation by including order entry system in the process. And the data will be sent automatically to the suppliers. So this we call as supply chain management system. For example, Hewlett Packard. The example in here is that, okay, you can see that in here for the customer, when they have order, they send it to the website, and in through distribution channel, so the distribution channel and website, will record the order system, so the manufacturer enterprise system will just like link with the production system to produce the product according to the order of the customer. When the product finish, the warehouse will acknowledge that they have to prepare the space to keep those products in stock, and when do we have to charge to the customer. Apart from that one, it also linked to the suppliers enterprise system as well. They also have production system, warehouse system, and financial system as well. The data about the financial will be linked between it manufacturers enterprise system and suppliers enterprise system, and then product shipments will just like deliver to customers. So this is the supply chain management system that are the linking and the relationship among like different subsystem inside the system for each company. In this one, when we talk about collaborative commerce, this is extension of supply chain management or SCM, and supply chain simplification. For the collaborative commerce, it involves the use of digital technologies to allow organization to collaboratively design, develop, build, and manage products through their life cycle. It involves a move from transaction focus to relationship focus, not just like what you produce and then supplier has to deliver the raw materials or spare parts as you want. But in here, when you design anything, it just like effect for all other suppliers that, okay, what kind of products, what kind of spare parts do you want to have? When will be the schedule? How do they gonna deliver to you? How do you gonna pay to them? Something like that. Next one, the example is just group deco. Next one, when we talk about elements of collaborative commerce system, we have the central data repository. That is like the storage that we store CAD drawings and bill of materials in the engineering system. Let me just explain to you for the bills of material. Sometimes in many businesses, and hang on, just won't be long, everyone. Okay, sorry, okay. So let me explain about bill of materials. Right now in the business, when they talk about bill of material, or let me just write it down, or BOM, sometimes we call it as BOM, bill of materials. Hang on. What is it? BOM or bill of material, it tells us that, okay, in order to produce a goods, what are parts or raw materials that they have to use? For example, if you would like to produce a car, what model of the windscreen you have to use? How many of them? What about tires? What model of tires you have to use? How many of them? In order to build up the car, it might consist of thousands of materials that you have to use in the bill of materials. Let me give you to you easily, if you want to just like build up, let me say, a toilet bowl. Okay, easy thing, because I just like did the customization of the BOM for the toilet bowl for Cotto company before. Okay, so in order to produce a toilet bowl, apart from the toilet bowl itself, you need to have cover. นะครับ that is the plastic one, right? You need to have enough of flucture นะครับ you need to have just like the things inside that is just like the flucture system inside. You also need to have just like the top cover for the water tank นะครับ so these will be listed in the bill of materials. When you say that you want to produce 5,000 toilet bowls in this model นะครับ the bomb will be exploded นะครับ for example they said that okay we need to have 5,000 toilet bowls, we need 5,000 flucture, we need 5,000 of the seat cover, something like that นะครับ and then this kind of products นะครับ will be ordered through the suppliers นะครับ this is bill of material. It's come from CAD drawing because CAD drawing will tell us that okay in order to design this, what components, what parts do you have to use and how many of them. This one will be kept in the central data repository นะครับ the ERP system will just have inventory, production schedule, and demand forecast. To think about that, okay, we have order นะครับ 2,500 of toilet bowls this model on January, another 2,500 toilet bowls in this model on February. So we say that okay, the production line will start on the 3rd of January after the New Year break. So we say that okay, in 1 week we will produce around like 500 toilet bowls. So that means around like 8 weeks consecutively you can produce up to 4,000 toilet bowls, and then we add like 1 more week on March, we can produce the last 1,000 toilet bowl in this model นะครับ this one is the production schedules that you can have, and we may have demand forecast as well because we say that okay this model is popular, then on the Q1 and Q2 นะครับ there will be a lot of ordering for this model because there will be a lot of construction sites according to the weather. It's before rainy season in Thailand, then there will be a lot of house constructed during summer period, then there will be a lot of like demand in this model of toilet bowls. Then you just like have the demand forecast like this from ERP system. This data will be kept in the central data repository, and then we have a workflow engine and universal viewer that we can see for the productions นะครับ the plans and the components นะครับ all parts that you have to use, and then the product designer firm นะครับ and manufacturing firm production engineers will have a look on this like data or elements of the collaborative commerce system that you have got. After that นะครับ there are main types นะครับ there are main types of the internet-based B2B commerce นะครับ so in this one we say that okay net marketplace that we have got นะครับ for the net marketplace, this kind of marketplaces bring together potentially thousands of sellers and buyers together นะครับ in a single digital marketplace operated over the internet. This one is transaction based. It supports many to many as well as one to many relationships นะครับ for example, if you say that okay we have the industries that produce the windscreen or glass products นะครับ it's not just like one company นะครับ it will be like tens of the companies around Thailand, maybe another 10 or 15 more companies in Malaysia, something like that. At the same time, car manufacturing companies who need to use this kind of glasses span around Southeast Asian countries as well, so they come into net marketplace นะครับ so it support many to many and one to many relationships นะครับ for purchasing and contacting in order to get or order these kind of products. While the private industrial networks, this one bring together a small number of strategic business partner firms that collaborate to develop highly efficient supply chains. This one is relationship based, and it support many to one and many to few relationship. And this one is the largest form of B2B e-commerce. For example นะครับ if you want to build a car นะครับ the car manufacturing company may join both net marketplace and private industrial network. For example นะครับ we said that the car horn they use both นะครับ they use Bosch, sorry, Bosch. That is the brand of the manufacturer of the car horn. So this is private industrial network. That means when, let's say, Mercedes-Benz would like to produce a car, they need the car horn according to the spec, and this spec will be sent to Bosch company, so they can supply this car horn to Mercedes-Benz according to the time that they want to have. Apart from that one, some car tires, for example, we say that BMW are going to use just like the car tires, the standard car tire for their cars from Bridgestone only, something like that. This one can be the private industrial networks. That just like talking about like the things that the customer need to use and the suppliers can produce. Okay, so okay, these are example for the net marketplace. These are just like common. So that means we may have like hundreds or thousands of suppliers, thousands of firms. While the private industrial network, we have just like the specific group of suppliers who can supply a specific product to the customer only. So this one is the private industrial network. So that means, for example, if I say that, okay, for car horn, normally the end users may use it, okay, but they just like buy it from like the distributor. But the one that really have to use it is the car manufacturing companies. Then they will be the one who contact with the suppliers directly. Okay, now let's talk about the net marketplace. There are many ways to classify net marketplace, such as based on pricing mechanism, nature of market served, and ownership. Another method that we use to classify net marketplace might be based on the business functionality. For example, what businesses buy, like direct or indirect goods that we want to use, how business buy, or spot purchasing or long-term sourcing. These are just like the way that we use in order to classify the net marketplace. There are pure type of net marketplace that you may see. Okay. In this one, you can see that, okay, we just like use spot purchasing versus long-term sourcing, and input direct, indirect inputs and direct inputs. So if we consider how business buy, and we just say that, okay, the business buy indirect inputs for spot purchasing, they may go to E-Distributor like Granger.com or Staples.com. If they want to have spot purchasing for direct inputs, they may use the independent exchanges like GE-Polymerland.com, ChemConnect.com, or Farms.com. But if the business would like to buy long-term sourcing for indirect inputs, they may go to e-procurement system like Ariba Supplier Networks, or Click to Procure from Siemens Company. And if the business would like to have the direct input for long-term sourcing, they may go to their industry consortia, for example, Exostar.com, Elemica.com, or Dairy.com. Right. So these are just like the type of net marketplace according to what business buy and how business buy. After that, we talk about the E-Distributor. E-Distributor is the most common type of net marketplace that you saw on the previous slide. E-Distributor is here. In this one, it provides electronic catalogs that represent product of thousands of direct manufacturers to the buyer or to the company. Typically, independently owned intermediaries that offer industrial customer a single source from which to order indirect goods on a spot basis. For example, I open a company that is a middle person. I contact many suppliers to sell the product that I know that you want, and then I will contact you. So you just like have one-stop service. Contact me only, and then you can get everything that you want. This one I get the commission from the products that I prepare the e-catalog for you, that you can just like buy from one place from me only. And typically operate in horizontal market because they serve many different industries with product from many different suppliers. So you can see that if I'm talking about screw, screw is the product in horizontal market because many industry has to use screw. Actually, you can also find screw from many suppliers, but if you want a specific screw from the size นะครับ or on the type that you want to have, you can just like contact to me นะครับ because I'm e-distributor or I am a middle person or intermediary นะครับ For example, this is www.granger.com นะครับ in here นะครับ so you can see that okay the buyers can contact this company only and the companies just contact suppliers for the buyers. So buyers do not need to contact different supplier by themselves. They just like come to this e-distributor and then they get everything that they want. For example, let's imagine if you run a show hoi and you want to buy different products. You don't have to contact each company by yourself. You just go to Macro. So Macro is the e-distributor. They provide this product for you because they contact different suppliers for different product that the show hoi wants to buy. E-procurement in here. This is independently owned intermediaries connecting hundreds of online suppliers offering millions of indirect goods to business firms who pay fees to join the market. Normally e-procurement they come in terms of the marketplace. Like in Thailand, the government set up the e-procurement marketplace as well, that every single governmental office has to use this e-procurement system. So that means for example, if Mahidol would like to buy 100 shares to MUIC, we have to go to e-procurement system and then we just like request that okay we want to buy 100 shares, and then we just like set up the spec. There will be just like hundreds of suppliers who sell the shares in the e-procurement. The things that government has to pay is to pay for the fees for each organization or for each governmental unit use this e-procurement. Okay, typically used for long-term contractual purchasing of indirect goods. For example, we say that we would like to have like 1,000 shares for MUIC, but we want them in 3 lots. The first lot 300 shares on Atityathon building. The next one is 400 shares in building number 1, and the last 200 shares go to the canteen. But the delivery period might be on January, first quarter 400 shares. On June another 300 shares, and in September another 200 shares. Like this is long-term contractual. And it's expand on business model for e-distributor because some e-distributor might be the supplier in the e-procurement as well. For the e-procurement, it typically offer value chain management VCM services such as automation of a firm's entire procurement process on buyer side, because sometimes buyer doesn't have the system to support this. The seller or the e-distributor may offer this kind of value chain management for them, from just like ordering, delivering, payment, and everything. Automation of selling business process on seller side, so that the seller will receive the sales order, and then they will prepare the delivery. They do the tracking of the order and they receive the money from the payment, something like that. This is the value chain management that the owner of e-procurement market can just like prepare or provide from for buyer and sellers, and then they charge for the commission or they charge for the fee. Sometimes we refer e-procurement to as many-to-many market. We have many buyers, many sellers, and everyone meets at the in the middle. That is the market. For example, this is Ariba. Actually, Ariba was the software company that produced the supply chain management software before, and now they turn to be the expert in the e-procurement. This one is the e-procurement net marketplace. You can see that, okay, this is the market in the middle. We have like hundreds of buyers, hundreds of sellers. So the owner of the net marketplace will provide a value-added procurement service and value-added selling service to buyers and sellers, and buyers and suppliers. Yeah. So this one Ariba Ariba set up their supplier network that is internet-based network นะครับ They connect suppliers to customer and their partners together นะครับ Also they offer enterprise spend management solutions to manage all of the company's non-payroll expenses นะครับ To just like help managing the payment นะครับ And the original version of Ariba was to revolutionize the procurement and supply process in large corporation that I told you they just like invent the system that is supply chain management system or enterprise resource planning software before, but they specialize in procurement and supply process นะครับ in those software. So they turn to be the Ariba supplier network later. After that นะครับ Ariba has faced many difficulties in bringing this vision to fruition because implementation of the software by large company is complex, time-consuming, and expensive. If you remember, on yesterday I told you that for setting up the enterprise software นะครับ or or ERP software นะครับ For the large company it may cost like billions of baht นะครับ or hundreds of million dollars นะครับ in the large scale company. And it takes time as well because some project it takes like 5 or 6 years to complete นะครับ And also it's fail to understand power of existing and web-based EDI system นะครับ They get the competitive response from other major technology players as well นะครับ because like apart from having Ariba and everyone had to join the market นะครับ different companies like SAP, anyone who use their platform นะครับ can just like be compatible. They can just link นะครับ to other suppliers without having link with the Ariba, something like that. And also they have the difficulties getting suppliers to join Ariba supplier network as well. So when you don't have many suppliers, the customer will not be interested in this network. So that's why these are like the difficulties that Ariba confronted. And currently operating in a significant net loss. They say that future prospects not great. So when we have the e-commerce, like the Ariba network like this already, the next thing that I want to talk about is just like is for exchanges. For exchanges here, it is the way that independently owned online marketplace that connect hundreds to potentially thousands of suppliers and buyers in a dynamic and real-time environment. This is for exchanging. This is for exchanges market. Typically, vertical market, they're focusing on spot purchasing requirement than the long-time purchasing of large firms in a single industry. For example, if you want to buy some stationery, this is like the spot purchasing. If you want to buy like papers, like or just like the toner of the printer, this one is just like the spot purchasing. Exchange make money by charging a commission on transaction that customer purchase and the seller can sell the products. There are a variety of pricing models used in the exchange business. It tend to be buyer bias because buyers may want to have just like different products. Then this one, the exchange business can be just like buyer bias. Depends on what buyers want. By the way, many of the exchange business have failed due to low liquidity. That means typically measured by numbers of buyers and sellers in the market, the volume of transaction and size of transaction, because the exchange normally they run for the the one-time purchase. So that's why, or spot purchasing, that's why you may not be able to predict how many buyers and sellers will involve in these activities. So this one you can see that there are like hundreds of buyers, hundreds of suppliers are going to the electronic market space, and you the one who is the middleman. So in this one it is quite difficult to forecast because it's the spot purchasing. Next one, some business might work as the industry consortium or industry consortia. This one, you can see that for the industry consortia, it is industry-owned vertical markets that enable buyers to purchase direct inputs from a limited set of invited participants only. So not everyone can join. Industry consortia is set up for just like the companies in that business only, and also the suppliers who deal with that business only. It's emphasized long-term contractual purchasing and development of stable relationships between buyers and sellers. The ultimate objective of industry consortia is to unification of supply chains within that entire industries through a common network and computing platform. More than 60 consortia now exist, with many industry having more than one. For example, if we are talking about like the car manufacturing consortia, in Thailand, we have the manufacturing consortia as well for the car and automobile. I should call it as automobile. And also some of the car manufacturers in Thailand, they also join the industry consortia in other countries as well. For example, some of the car manufacturers like Toyota, Honda, they also join the industry consortia in Indonesia as well. In Japan too, right? So for the industry consortia, they can make money from transaction and subscription fees. That means the members have to pay the fees when they would like to be a member in the industry consortia. And also when they have any transactions like purchasing something or just like have request for the contact of the suppliers, they have to just like pay for the transaction fee for the industry to the industry consortia. And it offers many different pricing mechanisms for the industry consortia. Depends on what industry you are doing and what kind of products you are trying to have or what kind of suppliers would you like to just like contact. This is the example of the industry consortia diagram. You can see that it is a vertical industry consortia that buyers would like to buy the products to produce the product in their industry. They normally contact the vertical industry consortia to just like contact to the supplier and get those products. So the industry consortia can create the value-added supply chain services to the buyer side and can create the value-added transaction service to the supplier side. The vertical industry consortia will create a proprietary software envelope. That means it's just like communicate between a specific buyer and specific supplier only. When they can do like this, that means buyer can purchase a specific product directly from supplier without knowing by other suppliers and other buyers. So this is what we call proprietary software envelope. The next one, some of the e-business might work as a long-term dynamic of net marketplace. In this one, the pure net marketplace are moving away from simple electronic marketplace vision. And then they move toward playing a more central role in changing the procurement process. The consortia and exchanges beginning to work together in some markets. E-distributors joining large e-procurement system, and also they join industry consortia as suppliers. Movement from simple transaction involving spot purchasing to longer-term contractual relationships in both direct and indirect goods. So that means there are more dimensions from long-term dynamics of the net marketplace. From just the spot purchase, now they also increase long-term contractual purchasing as well. In the past, it might be from direct goods. Now they try to expand to sell the indirect goods as well. So these are just like the innovation, or sorry, the evolution for the long-term dynamic of net marketplace. They try to just like expand themselves to match with like different kind of what business buy, different kind of how business buy as well. Okay. So apart from this one, we have another word that we should know, that is private industrial network. What are they? For the private industrial network, these networks are web-enabled networks for the coordination of trans-organizational business processes. Trans-organizational business process, or we may call it as collaborative commerce, the same thing. It ranges in scope from single firm to entire industry together for the private industrial networks. Sometimes when we just like are in the consortia, they might just recommend you to just like join the private industrial network, so that you and your partners in the same industry can just like join this network together to just like join the business. For example, Procter and Gamble, they have their private industrial network. For example, you can see that in Thailand, when we talk about Procter and Gamble or P&G, there are products like the commodity products, and the product that we just like use or like for the household product. But when we talk about the international P&G company, they also have like some products that you might not think about it as well. For example, if I'm talking about some perfume, like Calvin Klein, that kind of perfume is produced by Procter and Gamble company, but they name it another name, and they just like produce it in France and in UK. So those companies who produce perfume for Procter and Gamble will have to join private industrial networks as well. And their customers who use or who purchase Calvin Klein perfume is the Calvin Klein company. They may just like be the distributor of the Calvin Klein perfume. But I mean, actually, when you go to the counter in the shopping center or department store, Calvin Klein perfume, actually it's from Procter and Gamble company, not from Calvin Klein regular store. So this is the private industrial network that Procter and Gamble set it up. So in this one, you can see that in this one, from suppliers to customer, the manufacturer is Procter and Gamble company, right? In this one, they have the distributors, like Spartan stores. The retailers to sell the products from Procter and Gamble, in this example is JCPenney, they just like have the order, the product from Procter and Gamble. For example, let's think about like Calvin Klein perfume, not just like, if you just like talk about Procter and Gamble, like Pantene shampoo is different, because that one, you can see that normally you just like put it in the supermarket than in the shopping center like this. Okay, let's see. When you sell the perfume, one bottle of perfume of Calvin Klein, the point of sales data from JCPenney will be sent back to Procter and Gamble and to acknowledge that right now one bottle of Calvin Klein perfume is sold already. So in one day, suppose they can sell, let's say 20 bottles, and then it's just like the level of the stock is dropped down to the reordering points already. The Procter and Gamble will send the new stock of the perfume by the transporter to JCPenney. Right. So this is the private industrial network that Procter and Gamble put for their retailers, because some of the products retailers do not buy from Procter and Gamble. We call it as consignment. The product will be on the shelf, will be on the counter of the retailers. Retailers doesn't have to pay anything. Procter and Gamble, actually they have to pay the fee that retailers allow them to put the products on the shelf. And when JCPenney receives the cash or money from the customer, manufacturer like Procter and Gamble will acknowledge, and they may have like credit terms that, okay, when JCPenney receive the money for 60 days, then Procter and Gamble will receive this amount of money. But anyway, Procter and Gamble acknowledge that, okay, they sold, let's say 20 bottles already today. So in the next 60 days, they receive this amount of money. Okay, So this is the private industrial network that they link นะครับ Procter & Gamble link with JCPenney and Spartan Store as well because Spartan Store is the distributor นะครับ okay. For characteristics of private industrial networks in here นะครับ the objective include first one developing efficient purchasing and selling business process industry-wide นะครับ also it developed the industry-wide resource planning to supplement the enterprise-wide resource planning. Also create the increasing supply chain visibility so that, okay, different company like the suppliers can see what products that you have and how do you going to provide it to those shopping center. Because like, let's say, if JCPenney has many branches around the US, they may want to know that how Procter & Gamble can supply the Calvin Klein perfume to each branch properly. Next, to achieve closer buyer and supplier relationship, to operate on a global scale, and also to reduce industry risk by preventing imbalances of supply and demand because they can know the plans from each shopping center, and also shopping center will know the capability of producing the products or the supplying capability of that supplier as well. So this is the characteristic of private industrial network. So that's why large scale company, many of them prepare the private industrial networks to link with their large scale customer. And it's typically focused on a single sponsoring company that owns the network. In the example in here, you can see that it's Procter & Gamble, right? Okay. Actually, not just Procter & Gamble, some of other companies that we know, they also have the private industrial network as well. For example, Colgate Palmolive, that one they produce the product similar to Procter & Gamble. They also have the private industrial network as well. Okay. The next one for the private industrial networks and collaborative commerce. The collaboration among businesses can take these forms. The collaborative resource planning, forecasting, and replenishment or CPFR. These forms of collaboration involve working with network members to forecast demand, to help developing production plans, to coordinate shipping, to just like do or monitor the warehouse and stocking activities to ensure that the retail and wholesale shelf space is replenished with the just right amount of goods. Sometimes if you don't know what they want and the space that they have, you send too many products, too many items of the same piece of product to them. They don't have space on the shelf in order to put these products on. What happens is when the shelf is full, your surcharge product, your surplus product will be in the warehouse in the box. That's why you have to just like put the right amount of goods by just like using the CPFR. It will help. Demand chain visibility. You know that how many products, how many items that customer may want. They may have some forecasting. So this is the demand chain visibility. And marketing coordination and product design can just like go together properly to see that, okay, how do we gonna have the marketing according to what the product that the customer wants. This is a closed loop marketing, because when the customer have some feedback from the marketing, they can just like give to the product design team properly. For example, you can see that when we talk about a car manufacturing company, before the car is launched in a specific country, the standard model just come first. For example, if you say that, okay, it's a time for Toyota Corolla Altis to change its model. Before the model change comes into Thailand, they'll have like some cars from overseas imported to Thailand first for the new model of Corolla Altis. Then there'll be list of the specs that also come นะครับ into the same lot as the cars when they arrive. This car นะครับ not for sale but it's just like to prepare for the product design department in Thailand. Then they will just like have the marketing team to survey that, okay, what parts of the new car should be included, what parts should be eliminated. For example นะครับ if we are talking about, let's say heater in Thailand, we don't need heater นะครับ most of the city in Thailand we don't need heater. If the weather is cold outside, we just turn off aircon, something like that. So if you see the car like Toyota Corolla that is produced นะครับ that is manufactured in Thailand, many of them don't have like the heaters นะครับ but if in case that, I mean in some countries นะครับ if it is just like the country that colds almost all the year, they may not have air conditioners นะครับ on the other way around. For example, okay, let me just like give you one example, the one that I just like impressed that I saw last 2 years ago when I went to Japan at the first time. Air conditioners ครับ air conditioners in Japan, I just like, because I couldn't read Japanese, I pressed remote controller in the wrong button. It's very hot นะครับ because it was a heater as well. But in Thailand, let's see, if you buy air conditioners, no heaters in the air conditioners. So this one, the marketing team can just like do the survey นะครับ with the market. And also they can just like coordinate with the product designers in order to just like launch the product according to the market that needs นะครับ this is what we call closed loop marketing. In this one นะครับ so these are just like the diagram to show the pieces of collaborative commerce puzzle นะครับ for the collaborative commerce and private networks นะครับ private industrial network, they can coordinate the product design, industry-wide collaborative resource planning, forecasting and replenishment or CPFR นะครับ they can also just like link with the supply chain visibility, demand chain visibility and marketing coordination นะครับ these are a puzzle to make the collaborative commerce and the private industrial networks to become successful. So นะครับ the next thing that we just like talk about is the barriers for the implementation of these networks. In this one นะครับ because they might have like the concern about sharing of proprietary data นะครับ integration into existing ERP system and EDI networks are so expensive. They can do, but it's so expensive, so no one would like to sponsor about this one นะครับ and also it requires the change in mindset and behavior of employees when they have to just like use this kind of networks, because I mean like the designers, if they have to work according to the request of the marketing, they may not like it. So how do you going to change the mindset and behavior of the employees? And this one, the next one, I just want to show you about like the industry-wide private network. You have the link between firms นะครับ in a single industry and supplier firms for that industry นะครับ linked through the same industry-wide private industrial network when they would like to just like order some products or have the contract for ordering any products from any specific supplier in their industry. They will use industry-wide private industry network in order to order that one and have the long-term purchasing for those suppliers as well นะครับ and that should be all for supply chain management that we need to know นะครับ okay, right, okay then นะครับ everyone up to this point, do you have any questions ครับ right, okay, so if you don't have any questions นะครับ we'll do like this นะครับ on our final exam. Yeah, is the final exam hard? Okay, I'm going to talk about it now ครับ Napat. It's not difficult ครับ it's similar way as we have for midterm examination. I'll give you the case studies นะครับ and then ask you for the ideas in order to just like put the concepts that we learned from e-commerce to do it or to implement it. So I'll have like around two cases for you, similar to the midterm exam, because we have 2 hours to do that. And then you just like write down your answers, how they're gonna do it. But when you just write it down, just like also have to check that, okay, for the score that I give to each question, let's say if I give you 20 points for this question, some of the people, if you answer me just like 2 lines of answers, you may get like 10 points out of 20 at most. So do it carefully when we just like have the things that you have to do. You just like better refer to the things that we learn. Yeah, so I think that most of the thing that I just like teach you during our lecture time already. Then you have to just like express your ideas as well, apart from the concept that we learn during the final exam. And on the final exam, we do the same thing as we did on midterm examination. It's online, and then I'll be with you as a proctor on the examination day. Don't forget the date and time for final exam. We will meet each other on Zoom like this. So I remember, if I'm not wrong, last year when I taught this course, there was a student forgot the time for final exam, and he or she, I couldn't remember, was late for an hour. So that student had just 1 hour to complete the exam. So be careful, don't forget the time and date. Check in the Sky system properly. It is there already. Okay. Anything else, everyone? So for your business plan, from your business plan, I mean from your submission of the term project, you have to submit the you have to submit the business plan, as well as your slides, as well as your demo of your prototype as well. Okay, so now let me see. Is there feedback from Mr. Mistakes? So for the feedback from Mr. Mistake, you may have to ask me just like question by question, so that I can explain to you. Okay, but actually what you have done so far is okay. The things that you may have to add more is that you just like write down to explain more. I know that you understand, but the things that you just like don't do is you don't write it. So when you don't write, I don't know what you are thinking about. Then if you ask me for the feedback, is that everyone, I recommend you write more to explain to me. Many of you write correctly, but you just like write straight to the point, but it's just like very short, and then I don't know how do you gonna just like explain in this one for more details about that one.